Um, I don't understand very good the part of the last part of the second proposal. So I saw on the last part of the proposal some names. So why are there?
Oh, okay. That's perfect. Um, well, that second proposal, the second proposal of our next proposal is very much targeted to the development of our own economy, and the people who is there is people who we have worked with that are experts. For example, V is a Discord wizard, and Sam, I think, is one of the best Solidity developers that there is, and they are the experts that will help us to implement the bonding curve and to design the token. That is also something that we've been working with Septi, and we've been talking a little bit in these calls that we will start, and that's like the main idea that we are having right now, that we will start with a high reserve and we will be lowering the reserve gradually for the token. Okay, hello. Okay, and let's make the intro question. How about um, how is your weather? How is the weather where you are right now? Ben's just said. Ben's just said that it's starting to not be so cold, so hot. That's what you said.
Yeah, it's starting to cool off. It's not miserable anymore.
You like better cold or warm weather?
Cooler, yeah. I like
Okay.
fall. Like, yeah.
Okay. Well, where I am at, it's normally very sunny, but today it's raining. I will share my screen with you guys so that you can see. Today it's raining, and we have a cloudy day today here in Barranquilla. How is the weather where you are, Bianca? Innovator or someone else wants to share how is the weather where you are? Septi, how's the weather in La Pobla?
Oh, it's very hot. I wish you could send me some clothes of those with some raining. But yeah, I mean, it's hot, but it's fine. Like in Barcelona or other places, it's even worse. So it's like 30 degrees. It's not that bad. But yeah, it's hot. I really like cold weather. Yeah, what about you, Innovator?
Looking at Juan's picture, that's what the UK normally looks like, but we've actually had quite hot weather too. So we've been we had one day which went over 40 degrees, which is very unusual, and it's bringing home the the message that actually we need to cool the planet down. So that was that. I mean, currently we're about 26, 27 degrees or something. So warmer than usual, perhaps, but kind of not super hot. So, which is actually really quite good.
Araujo, how is the weather where you are right now?
Really cloudy, so it's great. I'm going to take my breakfast. It's great.
And Bianca is saying here it's winter, but it's a hot winter. Yeah, because you're in the south, right? In the south side of the world, so it's winter right now. Amazing. In Brazil. Clara, would you like to speak a little bit? We are just making an intro on how's the weather where you are now.
Hi everyone, thank you. This feels like a very British conversation, so playing to the stereotype. I'm happy to say it's lovely and sunny here, but not quite as hot as it was yesterday. I'm in Greece, and for the last 4 or 5, I don't remember how many weeks, it was very hot. But today we've got a little bit of cloud, and it's lovely. Who shall I pass it to?
I think we're done with the intro.
Everybody's been? Okay.
Just moving away from the balcony so that the thunders don't mess up with the call. Okay, so we have people from all over the world. This is amazing. Welcome, Clara. And the topics for this agenda. We need. It doesn't matter so much the order, but it's just to make a reminder that we receive donations both from Giveth and from Gitcoin. In Giveth, we have this project where you can donate really easily through mainnet, XDAI, or I think even Polygon. These guys are amazing. And yeah, we receive here the donations. And we also have a Gitcoin grant where we also receive donations. So anyone, if you want to support us, this is a really cool way to support us. And I wanted to ask, and it's great that Bent is here, and how to update the info on the Giveth project, because right now we finalized the third Graviton training, and here it says like it's still active. So it would be better to have like a evergreen content so that we don't have to change it according to the activities that we have, but to have like a long-term text that we can leave here.
Yeah, for sure. I need to like submit to verify the project so that donations are eligible for givebacks. But so I have the address that has that profile. We updated the receiving address so that like funds go directly to the multisig for Gravity, but
is finalized already. Okay, moving to the next topic of the agenda. But yeah, I will. Let's update this both two grants. We finalized the third Graviton training, but now we have to make the Graviton cohort list. For each of the trainings, we have a list of people who have participated in at least 6 of the trainings, and those people are the ones that we can call Gravitons, because it's the people that we can certify that so this is the second Graviton training list, but we need to make something like this for this third list of Gravitons. And what we have to do is that we have to search each of the POAPs, see who claimed them, and make a list of the people that claimed at least 6 of those POAPs. Sometimes there's people that didn't claim the POAP, so it's always good to make like a double check of the information with the videos. So yeah, I will be doing this during the week, but I'll appreciate if someone wants to help me, because it's like a very one by one thing that we should do. And for example,
I have a question with the pops. We already have the design, or but so I want to help with the pop design. So I don't know what do you think?
okay, right now we are not designing POAPs. Right now we are tracking the people who claimed the POAPs, because are these 10 POAPs? We
Okay.
yeah, we delivered the POAPs, and now we have to track who claimed at that we can see in the POAP, in each of the POAPs, and it displays what were the addresses that claimed this POAP. So, for example, and this is something that is weird, sometimes we have addresses claiming the POAPs without assisting to the sessions. So something that we like to do is not only to see the addresses, but to also match them with the videos. This is the first time I'm gonna do it this way, but here I can download the CSV file, and I think that makes it easier for us because we only have to download the 10 CSV files, and we will have all the people who claimed per session. So for example, I don't know if you're seeing my screen, but I opened the CSV file. No, you are not seeing. I just opened the CSV file, and here we can see the addresses of the people who claimed. So what I am going to do is that I am going to copy this information into the spreadsheet, and I will do the same with each of the sessions. This is session 10, and then we will have just to match. I am not gonna do all of them, just to do this one here so that we can have like the example, but it's something that needs to be done. Yes.
Just wondering about where is best to do that. Are we going to set up something like either a thread in against the Gravity channel, or shall we set up a small Discord group so that we can sort of look out for this specific activity, and whoever wants to join in, I think that would be quite a good way to do it. But I don't know what your thoughts were.
This is a one-time thing, so I like groups to make groups when there are things that are recurrent. But this is like it's just done once and it's done, and we have the list of the Gravitons. But there is something that needs to be done, and it's recurrent. To move from this from this topic, and that connects to one of the topics of the agenda, the things that you're saying, and it's like how to become an active Graviton, and we have to improve this process. Because right now, yeah, we have list of people who attended at least 6 of our trainings, and now we have 3 cohorts of those people. But how can we know, like, who of them are willing to mediate in a case? Sometimes, like, and that's like the idea of being able to activate ourselves as Gravitons. Sometimes, like, you are willing to take a case, but sometimes maybe you are loaded with other things and you don't want to receive a case in that period. Also, like, for us, how many active Gravitons do we need? And this is also very tied to the idea of having active Gravitons in other communities so that they can funnel cases to us. But yeah, this is more a thing that I think that we can discuss openly, and yeah, to design a process, because the cohort of the 3rd Graviton training is just something that we do once and it's done. But this is like we have to imagine ourselves an onboarding and an offboarding process. This was done some months ago, the first onboarding, but we have never done any offboarding of the active Gravitons. And now we have more Gravitons, and we have to be sure of who of them wants to activate, and also like how to activate. And that's very connected to what you were saying of like a flyer and a brochure of like, okay, now I'm a Graviton, how do I activate myself? Yeah, I think this is something that there's a lot of work in this that we can do.
We can also, if we decide on, let's say, I don't know, 5 or 6 different ways that a graviton can, re-engage, then we can send them a form and just say, look, which of these options is appealing to you? It's going to vary on a personal basis, but that will actually give us some data, some feedback, actual data from people as to, what where their interests lie now that they've finished, Graviton training.
Yeah, that's great. So all this then now connects to this next point of the agenda, and it's like
Hey Juan,
yes, Bianca.
I just got to a place that I can talk. I've been taking screenshots from the sessions, and does it help somehow to see people that were in the sessions, then having the wallet address?
Yes, I think we can do both, but having the wallet address is like the Web3 thing that we do, and also to do this right now will also ease us a lot of work when we are doing the distribution, the initial token distribution, because if we have everything in order and we have all the wallet addresses when we are doing the token distribution, then it's just sending. But if we don't do this right now, when we are making the distribution, we would have to search for all of the addresses. And I want to double check because I don't want to include, like, for example, a bot claimed the 10 of the sessions. I don't want to include a bot in the list of people, so it's good to have like both of information, both the wallet that claimed the POAP and the name of the people, so that for example, when we are doing the distribution, we don't want to give tokens to bots. We want to give tokens to the people who actually participated in the training.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I can help. I can help doing that. I just need to understand better. Yeah, the way that you want to do it.
Okay, the work is being done here. We have this slide, this spreadsheet that is called Graviton Training Open Call. It's in the notes of this call, and the notes of this call are in the calendar. Are in the calendar of the call, in the TC calendar. So, but I can also share it again in the Discord. So the way that I would do it, and the way that I want to do it, is that I will paste the CSV file of each session in a column, like session 10, session 9, session 8, and then track how many of the wallets are, at least 6 of them, and we also have here the name of the people. Yeah, but then how would we match them?
I mean, you should ask people others and then have an internal file or not. Like it like either, but if you have internally or public, you should let no people know like it's internal or public, since they are you are going to link address to names. But yeah, that's one way. Like you tell people to link their name to their address if they want to. Like if they don't want to, it's fine. Like they just are considered as a bot and they don't need to get their information known by the rest. But you could also do it internally, so then people is less scared. Like you just make it for you, and then you use this document internally, so no one get his information out there.
Okay,
Juan?
yeah. Yes.
I wasn't quite sure in the conversation. Did we say we've got their Discord handles? Because that would be quite helpful to be
Yes.
able to kind of ask them individually.
Yes, we have their Discord handles here.
Perfect. That's
So
good.
what we could do is that we could add all the information separately, and then we cross the information. So first we have here names or Discord handles, better Discord handles. And then we have in each column the CSV file from the POAPs, and then we just try to match the Discord handles with the accounts. Also, it would be good because we want to make a Graviton get together, and this is the next topic of the agenda, and it's like inviting the people who became a Graviton to a meeting where we like congratulate them, and we invite other peoples from the past cohorts to share with them. So if as we are going to make like an outreach to the people to invite them to the Graviton get together, it can be like just one message like can you please double check or send us your Ethereum wallet, and that would be and that would be the way to match this.
There might be as far as like distributing like cohort 3 active Graviton, the easiest way, or like if you do a POAP for that, you might not need to match like their actual identities. You could do it just from the address. If you like if we create a cohort 3 Graviton, then you can just like pull those addresses anonymously still, and then like use them for the cohort 3 POAP, and then we can email everyone that attended. Like if you attended 6, check for the if you're eligible to claim this, and then you don't need to actually match everyone up, right? That
Yeah.
might be easier. I know we kind of want to know who they are so that we can contact them for other things, but if that's something that's like a holdup or complicating things, that
No,
you can always go about it that way.
I think it's great. We also did it that way last year. So yeah, maybe we can start first with the addresses, and with that we can have the 6, the criteria of 6, and send this third cohort special POAP to those addresses, and then maybe ask, hey, if you received this special POAP, it means that you can activate.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
sorry.
then like if they, that way, you know, you distribute it to everyone who did for sure attend 6, and then if anyone, you know, you can say in the message that if you think you should have got it but you didn't, let us know, and then we can like follow up on those maybe. I think that would be easier than trying to get everyone's identity matched with an address.
Yeah.
Unless we think we need that at some point.
Um.
I have a question with the POAP. So I want to claim it. So how?
Well, these POAPs were for the people who participated in our training sessions. They were already delivered, and we made a 10-session course, a 10-week course, where we delivered all these POAPs, and now we have all this data, and we have to analyze and match the data. I like Ben's approach because it's it's really the easiest way. First, matching with the POAPs, sending them a special POAP, and then we just have to track who are the people who have this special POAP. I think that's a really fast way to do it.
But we can still send them the messages about how they can activate. Is that still the case?
Yes, because the idea is that people who claim the POAPs are the ones that are able to activate themselves. People cannot activate themselves without having at least 6 of the POAPs.
Great, thanks.
And then activation messages. Okay. I like what you suggested, Benz. That's really problem solving, and we don't have to be so looking for whose address is which name. Maybe we can lower the amount of people that we have to contact, and then make a direct approach for the people and tell them, hey, because you participated in 6 of these sessions, you can now activate.
But how are we gonna send the POAP to the wallet?
Oh, that's really easy. You can send POAPs and claim POAPs. So what we will do is that we will send them without they having to claim it. A closed distribution.
Okay.
You can even I think you can kind of mix and match too. So if there's for the ones that we know went, we could you set up the delivery or the actual POAP, and then you can set up one delivery where basically you just enter your address and then sign in and claim it, and if you're eligible to claim it, you can, and then we can have further specific unique links that would go out to the later claims that we have to do a little bit more follow-up on. There's a lot of different distribution kind of methods, but
okay, yeah. Well, maybe I will continue working on this, and the ones who want to share, I will try to and want to contribute, I will try to have more information in this spreadsheet so that we can maybe next week hack on more things and have more information to this. Maybe I think that it would be good if in 2 weeks we can come up with this session or distribute this POAP to make the Graviton get together by the end of this month, or maybe the starting of next month. But yeah, let's move with this. I will do what Ben said, and first match all the POAP criteria, and then try to have follow up on the individual cases. But yeah, this is work to be done async.
And can we still make sure that we're not sending POAPs to bots?
Yes, because we can see how many POAPs each address has, and normally the bots have around like 1,000 POAPs, and you know that who is real people, the people who have like 10 POAPs and maybe have the session of the Graviton trainings and other stuff, or people who have maybe more POAPs, but that you can see that the POAPs are real and that are like related. For example, here I have the first session of the Graviton training, the second cohort of the Graviton training, and here's the third session of the Graviton training. I have a lot of POAPs, but yeah, it's not 1,000, and you can see that most of them are related, like TC, Gitcoin, and you can somehow see who is real and who's not by looking at that. Also,
Okay.
we have around 30 people, so it's not so much, so many information. And here, for example, in the first session, we only had 20 claims. So yeah, it's not so much information. But yeah, moving to the next topic of the agenda. I don't know if you all have added the Gravity calendar to your Google Calendar, but here we have like the schedule of our meetings, and tomorrow and Friday.
Can I make a suggestion on the calendar?
Yes.
Like, it'd be nice if all the events got the same color, so then you can, like, when you have, like, for example, like, you got Kiveth calendar, TC, Common Stack, and Gravity. So it's like, okay, TC is red, Kiveth is green, Gravity is whatever, right? And then it's...
How do you do that? How do you
But
change
that's just for the Gravity calendar itself. When you add to your own calendar, it's just one color.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yes, this is the open from Gravity, and this is from mine, and mine is yellow. So
Okay, cool. Thank you.
but yeah, tomorrow and Friday we have training sessions in the Aragon Discord server. Bianca is preparing, and Anna are preparing, and Aloysius are preparing a session for the Aragon community, talking about mental health, psychology, well-being, and like stress in remote work. So I just wanted to invite you, and yeah, Bianca, I don't know if you want to make a check-in. I know that you've been working on this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we are gonna talk about burnout. In that topic, Aloysius is gonna lead, and they're gonna talk about the 3 Bs: breaks, balance, and boundaries, and how to have self-awareness and tools for managing burnout. And it's a practice session, so we're gonna have some activities around that. We're also gonna talk about work and mental health. So how is that we can work and have a good mental health at the same time, and how does my work affect my mental health, and how can I take care of it? And we're gonna do an activity around things that represents myself, and we're gonna see the rules that we play in our own life, and how are those rules, how they have conflict between them. It's something that's really cool to see. And yeah, and we're gonna share a little bit about our research in psychology and mental health and launch our survey. So we're really excited about it.
That's amazing.
Bianca,
Yeah.
is that coming out of the umbrella channel in Aragon?
Well, they are the umbrella team, like disintegrated, and now our participation is going to be more direct in Aragon as Gravity. Before, like, the umbrella team was like this bridge between Aragon and Gravity, but now the relationship between Aragon and Gravity is going to be more direct. So we are going to be hosting these activities, and we have 2 contact points there, mainly Paolo, that is Incandenza, and Fintan, that is F. Murphy, who are going to be the people in charge of being the point of contact for Gravity, but we will not have this mediation team from the umbrella anymore.
Thanks, that's a good update. Much appreciated.
Okay. Do all of you have the invite link for the Aragon server? I will paste it here. So that you can join us tomorrow and support us. I think we will also be sharing and making a Twitter from the TEC, a tweet from the TEC around this, and a tweet from Gravity to continue reminding people around this. So
Yeah, and also an update about the survey. I saw Innovator that you wrote down on the forum that the survey would be in Portuguese. It's not gonna be in Portuguese. It's just a partnership with the University of Brasilia, but the survey is in English.
Okay, thanks, Bianca.
Yeah.
okay, so here's the invite link for the Aragon Discord server. If any of you want to participate in Aragon Discord server, in the session that Bianca will be facilitating tomorrow. Hey, Durgadas, I didn't notice that you're here. That you were here.
Hi.
Yeah, we were just talking about that Bianca and Anna will be having a session talking about mental health to the Aragon community tomorrow and Friday. So it would be good for all of us to support them, to join if we can, and to invite people. Yeah, because it will be a very cool space where we will be talking about mental health, burnout, and also sharing the research and launching the survey that we've been working on. So it's amazing. And Bianca, can you repeat to me the 3 Bs: breaks, boundaries, and what is the other thing?
Sure. Let me get back to it. Breaks, balance, and boundaries.
Perfect.
Juan, the other thing I'd like to offer again is some resource. If you're talking about tweeting and on Twitter, if I can be of any help there, I'd happily help.
Perfect. Yes. Right now, only Bianca and myself have access to the Twitter. But if you want to have access, or if any of you want to have access and support us with tweeting, yeah, please send me or Bianca a DM, and we can help with that. So we have 2 tweets to design, or if you don't want to have access but just draft the Twitter, you can draft the Twitter and send it to us, and we will publish it. So we have 2 tweets to make. One is to remind the sessions from tomorrow, from Thursday and Friday.
Can I make a suggestion about this that I've been making with the TEC for some time?
Yes.
There are a lot more social media platforms than just Twitter. You know, I'm not sure what or why we act like Twitter's the only one that exists, but it's true that we kind of do. So I do wonder, like, you know, for example, Quora is a great place to go to establish authority, you know, in terms of, you know, because you can do things a little bit more long form there. And so, you know, but not just that, there's a bunch. So I do wonder about our, you know, maybe we can have a meeting about social media strategy that works well with the website, because all those things need to be coordinated, you know. But yeah, also it would be good to maybe try to imagine that everything that we do from going forward is going to need to have an associated blog post with it. So that way we can start having content creation habits that will then fold over into the website. So maybe we can, you know, start doing that sort of thing too.
Okay, that's great. I think that we have a Medium account, and we can associate it. Like,
yeah, well, we won't need the Medium account at that point, you know, because it'll be on the website. But
okay.
you know, I'm just saying that if we just start getting in the habit of creating some content, you know, for whatever thing that you're trying to promote right now, you know, that would be good, you know, because that way we're always thinking about content creation, because content creation then becomes, once the website's done, the content creation becomes the problem. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a habit we need to get into. So I was just making a suggestion.
I remember that Nate said that he wanted to write some content from what he has seen on Gravity. But yeah, I agree with you that maybe Twitter can be like our low hanging fruit, and maybe one thing, but we can make a plan on how to expand our social media strategy. I think we can talk about this in some of the website design meetings, and make like a plan with phases. Maybe start phase 1 with Twitter, and maybe go phase 2 or phase 3 with others.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it should be a strategy of, you know, we put the thing on the website, therefore then it goes different places. Do you know what I'm saying? So the content creation is quite separate from the propagation portion, but you know, both have tools that can help you with them. But I just trying to get us into good habits right at the beginning, because if you do that, then it just becomes a force multiplier. So whatever it is you're doing, you should be thinking, geez, I need to create like a summary or a blog post about this, whatever I'm doing, and then we can move it forward, you know, using the content creation mechanism and the propagation mechanism. Thanks.
Yeah, I also think, and I thought and talked about this with Irene last week, and is that we have a lot of content that we have in the TC forum that we can brand as Gravity, and that we can refurbish, and some of the blog posts and some of the forum posts, we can make them a blog post, or like for example, the offboarding guide. You know that we have this take time off topic. I don't know why is it so difficult to find this thread. Oh my god. This one. I don't know why is it so difficult to find this one. But like this is something that we did for the TC, how to request time from the organization, and we have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, and we can refurbish this and maybe make it a blog post on our page, or a process, or an infographic, and
well, the basic idea is that what you would do is you would just be constantly posting about certain topics, and then you could then aggregate those topics into a guide over time. Do you know what I mean? So as long as you know what your, you know, what group you're working for or working toward, you know, then we can know you know, what we're trying to do there. So yeah, it's just a way of, you know, guiding and focusing your content creation and propagation efforts.
I remember in the TC, once we started doing this, like we chosen some forum posts, and then we made blog posts from them. So for example, the forum post on how to vote on the ABC params. There was a forum post that had like a lot of information, but then we made a blog post around it. So yeah, there's a lot of content that we have all over the place, and now that we're going to have like the website as a unifying point, they all have to be like recreated into content for the website.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. That's great to know, because that'll take the pressure off of people who are creating content. But I'm just trying to say everybody needs to be in a content creation mentality, right? So if there's something that you're doing, it would be just good to, you know, periodically do like a summary of it, or, you know, something like that for the purposes of, you know, putting it on the website and getting it tagged and going. So just let's try to get into the habit now.
That Jeremy calls working out loud, and sometimes we work silently. Absolutely. And people will not notice the work we're doing if we are not loud around it. So if you're doing something, write about it, tell it, so that we can create content around it. But we are getting to the top of the call, and I want to make these last 2 invites and these last comments before wrapping up the call. And is that also on Friday we will have 2 sessions. One for the proposal brainstorming, that we will continue working on the proposal that we will submit to the TC. The second and third proposal, that, well, it's the second proposal that it's split in 2. And also we will have a website design call on Friday.
I can't do Fridays anymore.
Yeah,
so that's what
I think if you're not able to do it, I will be there and working in the focus matrix. There are some things that we can still work, even if you can not be in the call. Like for example, working on the services and continue adding some.
I just wanted to start the process of winnowing this down now, you know, was the next phase. So I was hoping we can have a meeting after this one, but if we're still going to do that on Friday, I'm a little bit unsure.
No, I mean, we can do it after this call right now. At least I'm available. Do you wanna do it after this call? You say that on Friday.
I'm happy to. I just got to go into work all the Fridays now, so for the next like little while. So
okay, I remember that we had already moved this, but we only moved this last week, so that's why the event was here, because it was recurrent and not only like when I moved it, it was like this event and not the recurring. But so yeah, now it seems that we will have a website design call after this call. So if you want to stay, you can stay and work with us. If you wanna, if you have to go,
no,
I'm talking to all of you that the coordination call is now being over, and that I thank you for your participation. If you wanna open your mic to say some last words, we will be moving to a coordination call of the website, a website design call.
Yes, please, Juan. Could
Uh,
I
the website,
ask?
the website call is meeting right now.
We'll be starting, yeah.
So
Okay.
Juan, yeah, just to finish off the previous meeting, we still also need to have the commercial strategy kind of, the finance hack kind of aspect, which we should kind of do that in order to feed into, seasonal proposals, because that will be a foundation for us to kind of say, look, this is how we anticipate providing revenue streams, income. So I don't know if that's currently on the agenda, but again, if you are willing, I'm again happy to kind of offer my resource, and maybe we can bounce some ideas around.
Well, we are working in something like that with Durgadas in the focus matrix. Now we have some. I will focus matrix. Now we have these new tabs like services, and here we have to polish all of our services, and like price structure. We also have to make our price structure. So yeah, before, and I told this to Durgadas, before the focus matrix looked like a document that was so empty that was not a guiding document. But right now that it has more content now. It can be seen like a guiding document, and we will be working on this and polishing our services, our price structure, and also the service account emails are some of the new tabs that we added.
If it's possible to put that in the discussion, in the Discord discussion as a link, I'll happily have a look. But I can't continue with the meeting. So looking at the link would be fantastic, and hopefully I can make some comments.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Juan. It was a very good call today.
Thanks, Bianca.
Thanks, Bianca.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
welcome, Clara.
See you all soon.
Do you want to share screen, Durgas?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Somebody Okay, so I think what we've done is we've kind of seems to me that we've sort of unofficially decided that our starting point for the focus matrix that we really liked in Condensa's version of this, right? So so we're kind of going with this as the highlighted one. In terms of phases, I think it's a little bit confusing having this stuff here, so I'm just going to hide this for now. So and then in terms of services, I think the way that I was sort of talking about this was to talk excuse me, to talk about this in terms of we have products, right? these are the things that we've noticed, we've created in response to the different, groups. But the way we're, talking about, this is Qualtrics. This is my typical example of how to express a complicated value proposition. So, I think that we should have something along the lines of this, like perhaps we can have a section that's talking about what the menu will look like, right? Do, 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 do.
Um,
Yep.
we're going to use Qualtrics to design our website. I don't understand very good.
Yeah, we actually have this already set up in the background. We've chosen a more or less a theme. All right. So we've got this here, and then basically what we've done is if you actually take a look at the site itself, the site itself is right now this is what it would look like, right? This is actually not what it shows up as if you look at it, for example, from the way that it looks right now, because we're getting ready. Do you know what I mean? So this was what I'd set up for kind of our splash page temporarily, and what's behind the scenes is what we're going to be working on in terms of this. So the reason why we're doing the focus matrix is so that we can figure out what we're supposed to say to everyone, and it's not just affecting the website. That'll affect everything. So there's kind of another sort of process thing that would be useful to talk about. So let's say we're going to want to talk about, let's say, Bianca's current thing, right? So she's got an event happening, uh, you know, in her in Aragon, right? And she wants people to attend that. So what we would do is basically say, the idea being that we want to present the event. So we should have obviously a calendar for that, which we're going to create whole separate calendars and everything using the email addresses. That's why we're starting on the services accounts emails to figure out how to what do we need in terms of emails. But anyway, getting back to the event notifications, we just need to understand what the process is. So let's just say the event or the trigger or whatever it is that you're trying to do, then you should what type of thing that you should produce. So for example, is it a blog post? Is it a calendar? Is it what type of sort of underlying structure is needed to make it so that you can actually promote what you're trying to do, right? And so is it just an informational thing? Is it an explainer? Is it an infographic? What is it? Do you know what I mean? So we need to have some kind of process where we replicate what's going on, and we use the focus matrix as a way to say, okay, so I've got an online course, right, that we're going to create eventually. So who is this online course designed for? And so then we would sort of promote that according to who the course is designed for. If the course is designed for everyone, then that's great, or if the course is for all our existing clients, then we need to promote into our existing client base, and we need to have methodologies and tools and back-end procedures for selling into our existing clients? Or are we, now doing a research project with, or, dealing with psychologists, or, and then we need to make those resources available to them, security way, and so on. So, we need to kind of understand what the kind of underlying process is, and to understand that it is a kind of siloed thing. And so everything needs to go into the website, obviously, but then, basically there's, content creation on the one hand, and then there's, propagation on the other hand, right? So, and then there's also architecture, because sometimes we need to make sure we have that. So, for example, security and other stuff. So we'll just keep filling that out. I was just suggesting that maybe we could take a look at, like we can see here with Qualtrics, what are the things that I want to do now is with the focus matrix, to start really strongly grouping all of these things. So what I'd like to do is just go down, section by section, and try to determine how to properly group the things that we already have in here. So basically, right here is the membership section, where we've got two different sort of aspects of membership. One is just the cascading series of membership things, and generally the way membership plugins work is that you, if you're a Mem5 level person, you have access to all of the Mem5 all the way up to Mem1, right? So we have to consider all of that is kind of tends to be inclusive. Not all plugins are set up that way, but that's pretty typical. So so that's from a kind of a security standpoint. And then I think what we're doing is we're kind of starting with these first three things as our phase one membership types. So I just want to just let everybody know kind of what we decided, I think, last time. And then here are all the different sort of financial instruments that we've kind of come up with over time. I'm just want to make sure that we figure out now which phase we're going to do everything in. So today is really about making sure that they're all of these individual sections are grouped properly, and then we start putting phases to them, and then start putting X's on the different who's that we want to deal with. So the whole thing about what we were doing before, which was, pie in the sky, everybody puts their stuff in, all that's over now, right? Now what we need to do is chop out things, group them together. So, for example, if researchers and psychologists have identical needs, then let's smush them together. You know what I mean? So, if we've got, so anyway, so that's what today and next week will be about, is to make sure this thing is fleshed out a lot more. And we should be looking to this thing not just for it's just bad that we keep saying, the focus matrix and the website, the focus matrix and the website. That's not what this is about. The focus matrix is about every single promotional thing that we do, and every single thing that we do has a promotional aspect to it. So I feel like we should, in some way understand that, yeah, what did you call it? Working out loud?
Yeah, working out loud.
Yeah, that's a great that's a great thing. Working out loud. So yeah, I mean, we this is back to that process idea. So maybe I can take process out, and I can put that name in instead, because that's a much better way of saying it. So questions, I might be through. Some of you have been at some of these meetings, and some of you have not been. But basically, I'd just like somebody to let's just go down through and see if we can't make sure we haven't missed anything. Okay, so let me just make these the right size so that everyone can understand.
I think,
Anybody have any ideas?
yeah, I think last week we went over some of them. I think we left on legal concerns.
Yeah, I recall that we added in this idea about time tracking so that it would be easier to if we've got somebody who's involved in client work, we need to be able to do time tracking. So one of the things that we learned in the Aragon thing, was this we need to be able to surface all of the things that we're doing for them. So this actually goes back to the working out loud idea, right? So not only do you need to work out loud, but you also have to do accounting for that, right? So there's kind of, from my perspective, there is the work, which is the content creation. So you're either creating content by having a live meeting like this, like I would say that right now I'm being a content creator, right? And then the other part is I would want to, propagation. So what does that mean? So I guess we could say this is hosting calls, it would be content creation, leading Graviton, leading training, I guess, in general, and so on. Propagation would be social media generally, right, which we'll come up with a strategy for. Website, calendar, right? Promotion, architecture is, like technical, needs, um, security needs, things like this, right? And then accounting, for accountability to the client, accountability to the commons, everyone else in the group, and so that's why we kind of need structures like this to make sure that we're doing all this properly. So does that make sense? Is there anything else I should add or into any of these sections? So basically what I want to be able to do is just make different kinds of groupings so that people can get, oh, okay, that's how this is working. Go ahead.
I don't know if it would be good to take this tab that says how this focus matrix works, because
We're done.
we're done with that. And I don't know if it would be good also to change the focus matrix draft to just focus matrix.
Well,
And
yeah, I just like to keep, I just like to advance my my draft numbers so that I feel like I understand where I am.
Oh, okay, perfect. This is draft 3. Perfect.
So yeah, so I feel like we've made a lot of progress. Look, we've got a biz dev thing, so we kind of put this up here so that people can kind of see, okay, that's what we've done, and that's the anchor of everything. So we're basically doing this for all of these people, and the way we're doing that is with all of this stuff, right? So and then so this feels like a successfully completed thing. So I'll move that kind of down the end. I'm even going to move this a little bit further because we've just, that's been here for a while. So services and price structure, I think, are some important ones. So I'd like to spend just a little bit of time on winnowing this down. So let's take the next 15 minutes or so, and let's just make sure we've got this group. So I feel like this membership thing is done pretty well right now. Okay. And so right now we're not in an additive mode. So I'm just going to take out all the the extra sections here. Any other? I'm also just doing some formatting things so we can make sure you know this is handled properly. So any other ideas that need to be put across here for grouping? Araujo, any ideas here? I'm specifically calling on you because I'm trying to engage you in how this process works. I do this with all of my clients, and I hope you can start to see how it bends. Anything you have to say?
Hey, sorry, I've been multitasking a little bit. No, not really this time.
I have an idea, so I think it's time to focus on the content creation. I mean, uh, we need all the people know about more about gravity. So, what is gravity? How it works? Basically, we need to show to all the world how we works, how we can
Yeah,
help
this is the foundation of that. Yeah.
with the other communities to solve their problems. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what this is. That's what this is designed to do. We're, the whole point of this is to do that. So yeah, that's the current topic. And the way in which we're going to do that is basically, is revealed here, essentially.
okay.
So this is a breakdown of all of the different components of how to deliver that to our clients, basically, and what narratives we're going to use to make that happen. Because everything is a narrative, right? Ben, did you? So you're just multitasking, so that's okay. We'll just let you do that. So a couple of things we came up with was there's going to be a translation thing called WPML, or Google probably WPML, since I have more familiarity with that. That will go. That's a plugin that basically gets added to the Gravity backend as far as the technical. And I can actually just show you, for those of you who don't know anything about how this works, but basically I can install this plugin, and then the people who visit the website will be able to just select a drop down that will translate the entire website for us, and we don't have to have people doing translation on the fly for us, right? So it also means we need to technically choose other plugins that are WPML compatible, and I chose WPML because it has the most of them, so so if you take a look now, what you can see is the WPML plugin is set up, and I can actually go to, hopefully, don't know how it would work with an existing page.
English. In
I'm
the
sorry?
lower right, it says
Oh yeah,
English.
yeah. So here we go. So it just added this thing in. So I should then be able to click on this at some point. Maybe I've got my turned on here. Let's reload, and I have to figure out what's going on there, but it's probably a JavaScript conflict, so I'll have to sort that out. But in any case, that's just one example of kind of a technical thing that we're going to do, and that's why it's put into phase one, is so that we'll have that. So yeah, so in terms of financial instruments, I think we've got most of the things that we want to look at here. So okay, and then financial instruments, but I'm wondering time tracking. I wonder if there's a WordPress.
I have a question for the price structure.
Yeah.
It says price structure, but as we are going to have multiple services, we should also have multiple price structures. So should we
Right.
do all of the different services inside this price structure, or should we have a price structure for each service?
Well, so here, let's didn't I just make a copy of this? Well, that's weird. Anyway, okay, so let's just say this is an example of a price structure. Okay, so so there is a kind of idea here that we would. So let's just focus on this then, rather than the focus matrix for now. So so the basic idea being you put in the different groups, right? To say so let's just say we've got also bounty levels here. So we're gonna probably have let's just say I've got 3 different bounty levels, right? So but at the same time we also need to make sure that this actually will help in terms of what we're quoting to the client. So let's say we're quoting the client like instead of $5,000, it's 5,000 DAI, right? So and it turns out that the people who are involved in this particular instance. So what we would basically do is do this price structure, for an individual client. And one of the things that I'm trying to kind of reveal to you here is there is another document that we basically I feel like we should create, which is to say this is the plan, for all of our things. This is what I did when I ran a managed services provider, where I would basically go in and say, here's who we are, here's what the plan goals are, because we've created this custom made for your business. And what should happen here is we're doing is mirroring. So we should go into a client, listen to everything that they have going on, figure out what's happening, and then be able to state at the highest level what this plan is supposed to meet, right? And then we just start right in on the things that the client needs. So in this case, I would have a network upgrade for them, which I estimate a certain amount of hours, right, for. And then we would do certain amounts of software standardization and all of this stuff. So what is it that we're actually going to do with their website? So this is another example. And then, it's always the minimum amount and then double the amount. So we should basically be able to structure it this way. Now, the fact is that this is a planning document. This requires a lot of expertise, right? So when Juan or myself, or Juan and myself, and whoever goes into the group, that is a section that I would like to, excuse me, I would say there's a kind of let me just leave a gap here. There is let me just hide all of this, just because it's not
I
really
will
relevant.
create a Google Doc to make that plan. You once sent me a document like the ones you just sent.
Right. Yeah.
And we'll take that like as an inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and basically what I'm trying to say is that we should, from a general standpoint, we should have the ability to translate some of these things. So for example, so for example, part of the thing that you need is that there's the planning section, or the I think in this they actually call it discovery, right? So
How name that document?
I'm sorry.
How should we name that document? Like plan?
Well, yeah, I would just say it's gravity planning document, right? So it's just going to take some practice, and you have to have specific experts who would go in and assess the DAO, that we're going into, and the organization we're going into. Say, here's what you guys need. You guys need case management. You need, a coordination team. You need, these different groups to come in and do your thing, and then we're actually should charge them for the planning. So basically, what I basically want to have a discovery and a planning stage, because this and it should be expensive, frankly, from my perspective, because it takes quite a lot of expertise to be able to come in and evaluate at a high level what's going on with the group, right? And if you don't do this thing properly, then you end up with misunderstandings, which we've already encountered, right, in our experience. And so sorry, I just have a little water here. So we have a discovery planning phase, and then at the end of that, basically you have a thing that goes all the way down at the bottom. You say, okay, so here we are. Here's what we're doing, and this is our estimated. So for example, if I'm doing a website, I have to say to a client, hey, you guys are going to need to pay for hosting. You're going to need to pay for a theme. You're going to need to pay for all these different things. Some of these things are free, some of them are not, but here is the total cost of doing, all the things that we're doing in this particular thing. And then here's the estimated work hours that we have. Now, this might be depending on what's happening, we could sell them different kinds of things, but you can see where it says we're going to deal with the membership rate. So this is actually part of the equation. So the reason why I left this gap here was because there has to be a client type in here as well. So there are different kinds of charges that we're going to charge them for discovery and planning. So if the person wants to just become a member and start paying us on a monthly basis, we're going to charge them something different. If they want to be charged for block hours, if they want to be paying just straight hourly, or if they want to be paying like emergency costs because they didn't bother with any of these other cheaper options, then this is how much we can charge them. So we can come up with different client types, but these are the general ones that I usually work with. And then there's the implementation phase, right? Which is, okay, we made this plan. They've signed on the dotted line here, at the bottom between the client and us. Everyone agrees, and now we get into the implementation portion, right? So, and then after the implementation, there's maintenance, right? And so each of these has different kinds of costs associated with it. So what I generally say is that in terms of the price structure, let me just insert a thing above here. In terms of the price structure, cost is 4 times what your base cost is, and your base cost should always be your maintenance cost. So, and then implementation is cost 2x. And so the reason why I structure it this way is because then it gives us wiggle room in terms of just making sure you understand that where the most expertise is required is charged the most. So you follow me with that logic? So you have to have the people with the highest level of, understanding of everything from the entire process, discovery, planning, implementation, and maintenance. And you need to have a person that can come in and deal with the, varied groups and figure out what's happening, right? So, so I think we should talk about what client types we should add, right? What's going to go ahead.
From the initial services that we drafted,
Mm-hmm.
like
Where is that?
in the services tab,
Mm-hmm.
it says list of prices as services to other DAOs.
Mm-hmm.
And for example,
so that's where. Oh yeah.
The 6,000 DAI would be the planning, like the initial phase. The tailored Graviton training will be the implementation phase, and then the maintenance would be the monthly safety net.
Okay. So then,
so yeah,
yeah.
it would be
So so safety net means what?
Safety net means being able to submit cases to Gravity. Like being able to fill the Gravity type form and receive a first approach in your community.
Okay. So what we're talking about then is prioritization costs. Really? Because that's kind of a luxury item, it seems to me.
The thing is that what I am trying to do is that, okay, maybe anyone can fill the type form, but if for example, the conflict comes from a community that is not in paying the membership to Gravity, we will not be likely to offer the same services than if a community that is paying for Gravity can receive. For example, yeah, maybe. Also, what I think is that with this, we guarantee that we can have impact in that case, because if we have worked with a community before taking cases with them, it means that we already know more or less the community, and that the community is more or less structured. But if we take a case from a community that from we haven't worked before, sometimes that community cannot have even the basic infrastructure that we need to offer our services.
Well, that's where this maintenance cost comes in, right? So I wouldn't sign up to do maintenance for anybody I hadn't already done all of these other things on. Do you know what I mean? So so that's covered in that. So it seems to me that you got 4 things here, right? So and they're roughly actually kind of set up in cost wise. I don't know that it's a good idea to put a hard cost on this. It needs to the hard cost needs to be adapted per client, I think, right?
Okay.
But basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give a multiplier to this, and it's good that your thinking was about the same. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think, do we need 4? Do you know what I mean? So this for me looks like maintenance, right? And then this big thing is basically membership. So that's what you're literally signing up for as a DAO, and there are different kinds of memberships. So we can tailor this to, whatever they need. So we can include all of these things all at once, or a subsection of them. So that's why I don't want to come up with a hard cost in terms of that, right? And then so training would be an implementation. Well, you know what? Maybe what we should have is inside of this is let's just say I'm gonna call this like an implementation. Well, let's just call it an education section, right? Because we are going to be called on because there is the hard, difficult work of showing up in all the meetings and being like, hey, if you guys used this liberating structure for this kind of meeting, that could work. That's a different thing than holding trainings. Do you know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, so good. That can we can put that across. But yeah, these are basically two different kinds of implementation. But I'd like to just call them out as separate. I think it makes sense to do that.
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe for one community we can offer the education of the Graviton training, and maybe for
Exactly.
other community we could offer the implementation of.
Right. And
Um,
that's kind of what I was saying. Like that's why I was trying to show you guys in terms of how Qualtrics has set this thing up is what I'm gonna try to do from this process is say these are the 6 different or 4 different things of gravity, and then we're going to just individually brand these things and say, okay, so you have these different suites of tools that we group together roughly. So when I'm saying I want to come up with these groups of things down the side here, that's the toolbox. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what all of this is doing. This is literally the toolbox. So what I'm trying to do is come up with, branded sections like this. And on the basis of those branded sections, then we do a discovery process that says, you have different needs of design, customer, product, employee, blah, blah, blah. And then we engage you in these exact same ways too, right? They're just 2 different ways to look at the same, 4 to 6 items, right? And so that's what I'm trying to do in terms of the price structure, right? If we want to have a price structure, we have to have a price structure. We can't have the price structure without having, understanding precisely what it is that we're doing in terms of, so it's always going to be discovery and engagement. That's the way it's always going to work, right? But once you're engaged, you can have, maintenance costs, you can have, different kinds of things, right? So these are just really broad, kind of costing things, right? I know you're eager to just nail down, like numbers and everything. I'm really not quite there yet. But what I need for us to do is to say, aha, so we've got not only services, but how are these services grouped together in some kind of this, not just consultancy, because everybody does consultancy, right? It's the way in which we actually have a branded type of consultancy that it aligns with the needs of particular clients. So I'd like to see if we can come up with a group of things like this then that we can put on the website. So that's the part of the process that we're in right now. Okay, so I'm pushing back a little bit on the price structure, but I wanted to just show you that something like this can happen. And I guess this is just really just pure pricing, right? On the other hand, you see we've got this price structure about the different people who are going to engage in this is going to be different than the ways in which we're engaging the client. So this is the client front end, and we're going to have different sets of people. Like a case manager who specializes in their design XM thing is going to be different than a case manager who engages with their employee XM. Do you know what I mean? So I'd like to see if we can't nail this down a little bit. So so this is a really big catch-all document that gives absolutely everything. What I'd like to do is maybe go down a little bit further and say, now I need to have a branded, we need to have branded sections, right? And actually, we could actually use, sorry to drag you all over the place here, but do you understand where I'm going with this, Wanka?
yeah. I mean, as I told you before, I felt lost, but now I feel that the focus matrix like
Right.
ties everything.
Right. So my point is that I'd like to have this as kind of an initial setup, right? And then what I'd like to be able to do is to say, okay, so we have these 6 things. Now, which of these 6 things are applicable to, like in this case, healthcare. Do you see what I mean? So their idea is, now if I click on this overview for healthcare, what they're going to go is, mostly the healthcare people need, certain kinds of tailored aspects of the of their 6 general products, right? And what's interesting is they don't actually mention any of the 6 products here, but they do mention the XM thing, right? To say, okay, here's how we're going to, deal with this in healthcare. And they have visuals and everything that work really well with that. So I want to have a bit of a similar kind of setup. So what I'd like to do is say, okay, is there some so when we talked about creating the toolbox, right, we're thinking a little bit too small here. Yeah, we've got a Graviton guide. Great. So what is it that actually, so we talked about, trust creation and conflict management, right? But I can also see that, for example, the evaluation process, this high level thing is the design sort of portion, right? So so maybe we can just call that gravity design, right? So that's that initial um, overarching sort of thing, and then I think there was so there's conflict management, but it's like there are 2 different styles of conflict management, right? One is, oh, geez, we have a cultural problem or a structural problem with our group, and then we have individual case management, right? So can we group those things together in any reasonable way?
I mean, the 2 arms that we always speak about is prevention and case management. But also, we can talk about cultural awareness or competence, cultural competence. I like the word competence.
How about how in the TEC we often talked about the cultural build, right? So
I also call it culture of competence, and that includes even having policies, because sometimes, like, if you don't have a policy that legitimates a process,
yeah,
or that legitimates something, you cannot even solve a conflict when there is no policy, because it's like anarchy. Everyone is right. You need to have a policy or a truth in
sure.
order to make a judgment, or so yeah, I would call it like culture of competence, cultural
Yeah, so
competence.
that's just way too long. So I need to be able to just nail it down to something really, really short and punchy, So
Competence or
so yeah, so let's just keep spitballing about it. So maybe by adding in more things, we, rather than getting stuck on one, we can just keep, kind of working out what this is going to be about. So they always put the XM thing because they're all about experience management, right? So maybe what we can have is that we can have like uh, in terms of branding, maybe what we can do is we can have gravity conflict management, right? And then gravity CM and gravity TC. So those are our 2 big kind of things, right? So trust creation and conflict management, right? So and according to my so let's just say we're going to have 4 things. By the way, I'm more than happy to have any of the rest of you come in here. It's not just me and Wonka here, but my idea is that there are 4 basic sections, right? That there are these 2 halves, and then there's where the 2 halves meet in the process, right? So the emergent shadow and the emergent principles. We could call them something else, but let's just say so then we can have at least those 4 sections, and then what we can do is sort of break them down one at a time and try to see.
Emergent principles.
Yeah. So the idea being that some things are obviously conflict management, some things are obviously trust creation, and some things are really obviously things that meet in the middle. Like for example, all the trauma-informed stuff, all the liberating structures, comes as a way of ritualizing those kinds of things. And I have got somebody yelling outside my door. I wish I could understand what's happening.
I think it is very good, but I think we need to make more simple to our prospects. I mean,
I'm sorry?
it's very. I think it's very amazing, but we need to make more simple to our prospects.
Oh, for sure. The thing is that we have a complex value proposition, and when you have a complex value proposition, this is the example that I like to show, right? Because we have an awful lot of different things that we do for people. So this is literally us breaking down all of what we do into 4 sections, right? So we're going to basically take all of these things and stick them all into how do we actually brand the customer facing side of this. So all of this stuff up here is everything that we do, all the back end, all the front end, all the everything. We're not concentrating on that right now because we're thinking about how do we actually talk to people about what it is that we do. And that's what these things are for, if you follow me. So yeah, we are actually making this more simple. That's the process that we're engaged in, and I feel like I'm somehow leaving you behind here. Or maybe just because you haven't had the benefit of being at so many of these, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, about it, so that you feel like you can participate effectively.
I think we are making it simpler and simpler, and we were.
Yeah, we are. That's literally the next 2 or 3 meetings are all going to be about that, right?
What does ES stands for?
The emergent shadow.
What's the like the layman term? Like you have that's what I'm looking for. Well, so
these are just placeholders until we come up with a better name. That's all I'm saying. But I'm just saying that let's choose 4 to 6 groupings of things as a way of getting started. Do you know what I mean? So like Qualtrics has 6 here, right? And I want these. I think we should probably have more because we have an awful lot of different things that we do. But so basically the point of this is that they have 12 ways in which they engage with their customers, right? They engage in these 6 ways in the discovery process, which is what we've talked about in terms of sending an expert in there to evaluate their thing. And then once that's done, then we have these engagement processes, which are then determined by one of these 4 sections, right? So once you get into the engagement is all of this, right? So they've just broken it down into this and this. So they've made the whole thing simpler for their clients to understand. And we're basically doing the same thing right now with these branded sections, right?
Yeah. How do you think about is the emergent
I'm confused about the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is the emergent part like? I guess I'm trying to think. Like, is that something that's like kind of consistent with the categories of engagement versus discovery, or is that kind of completely separate concepts?
Well, no. So for example, if I go into well, you could use the example of Aragon, right? So the proposal that they had for us was, yeah, we're going to have this other group that's going to be a proxy for you, but they didn't have really good leadership, and they had all kinds of problems, and so that engagement just didn't work because there was all these misunderstandings, and it wasn't like we lacked direction or didn't understand what we're trying to do, but there was just all these things that weren't said, and so there's created all these kind of issues. That is right there is an emergent shadow. It's a thing that, even though we said we were going to do all these things, we discovered when we got in there that in fact the people who said they were going to do all these things couldn't, right? And so what it actually did was it created an emergent. We went through this entire process. You have to think about it as a circle, right? So we said, oh yeah, we're going to come in here and start putting in place trust creation things. And the moment you start doing that, then the shadow stuff shows up, right? And then
Okay.
we had all kinds of problems. And then we went through the whole thing and got down to it. And in the end, the emergent principle was, geez, we have to dissolve the umbrella group so that we can effectively engage with your, because having them as an intermediary just was not working. Do you see what I mean? And so once you come out the other side, now you're like, okay, now I understand that this is in fact more complex or more simple than we thought it was. So just having the umbrella group in there was an unnecessary complication, and therefore that was a principle we figured out in the case of that particular client. And so we would just go through, okay, now let's start the process of trust creation again. And I guarantee you that the next time we engage with them, there's going to be some other emergent shadow thing that's happening. Hopefully this time it won't be with us. Do you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it will be engaged with the shadow of the client itself, rather than having them take all of their shadow and project it on us, right? Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is just like reframing everything we did above, kind of a way of
Right.
doing that.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to brand the thing. So what we're trying to do is say, here are the most crucial things. So Juan's added a fifth one in here, and explain to me how this is different than all of the other stuff, because it seems to me that this would fit into trust creation.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe it fits. It's just I didn't want it to leave it because it's something that I think it's really important. That yeah, in order to solve a conflict, you need to have some basic infrastructure before. You cannot solve a conflict in a no man's land. And that's what I refer to culture of competence. But yeah, it can be included either in trust creation. But the thing is that, well, in trust creation it's also like policies. Policies can also be trust creation.
Okay, so here's the thing, Juan. One of the confusing things about working in this space is that people really get twisted up about the difference between features and benefits. And I think that's probably what's happening here. So if I can bring you over to
Okay. Features and benefits.
Yeah, so let's talk about features and benefits for a little bit. So this is actually so when I'm talking about the branded thing, okay, I'm immediately saying we can't at all talk about the features. We can't talk about any of our services, nothing. That has no relevance whatsoever. The only thing people want to know is uh, I need to have a benefit, and which of these branded things is going to give me that benefit, and that's all I care about. So a lot of times, so when we work in the thing, it can be very hard to think about what in the heck the difference is, right? So I think what you're talking about here is more like a benefit. So if I'm a fitness center, I'm saying I'm going to create weekend class for a busy work schedule, right? I'm gonna these are the different things that I'm gonna do for this. Let me see if I can find an image that does this better. Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I have to run.
Oh, yeah, it's no problem.
I did want to say, Wonka, if you on that POAP distribution sheet, I don't know how to get who claimed those, but if you can pull those, I can process those really quickly, just like